Sequels to my life entirely up to me. Slowly suffocating, do you notice how it feels? That baby, can you hold me while I'm running through a field like...
This is so
They
stupid.
said my conduct is detrimental to the team. Why did they just say we don't agree with his stance on LGBTQ? So why is it that the NBA and the Chicago Bulls say that I'm detrimental to the team? How? They proclaim Pride Month and the NBA. They proclaim it. Come join us for Pride Month, to celebrate unrighteousness. They proclaim it. God is faithful.
Just 2 months ago, the Chicago Bulls traded for Jaden Ivey in a 3-team deal, hoping that
Use common sense now. I'm sorry to like break into this and like get in this tangent. I'm gonna give you my full thoughts on this, and we're gonna let the video play. Listen to me. With the Jaden Ivey situation, we have to use common sense. Like, please, for a moment. The Jaden Ivey situation, let's use our brain for a second, okay? First of all, the nigga is obviously having some sort of like mental breakdown or some sort of spiritual psychosis. I'm sorry, my nigga. Like, let's use our mind for a second. When a nigga comes and says, yeah, my family says I'm crazy, they don't want nothing to do with me, they're not talking with me. When the Detroit Pistons traded him 2 months ago for Kevin Huerter, who's going to be a free agent, he's going to be gone, and a pick swap. This nigga was the 5th pick in the draft and is like 22 years old. Does that sound right to you? You trade the 5th pick, lottery pick, who's 22 years old, for Kevin Huerter and a pick swap. Kevin Huerter's going to be gone this season. What do you think was going on behind the scenes for the Pistons to come to the conclusion, yeah, let's do this trade? Because when it happened, I remember I'm like, yo, this shit is, I don't know why the Pistons would do that. That's dumb as hell. And then his family saying he's crazy. What do you think was happening behind the scenes that obviously an NBA team is going to come out, yeah, yo, he's doing this and this and this. Like, they're not going to come out and say that while that shit is going on. He's probably doing all type of shit. Like, bro, use your mind. Use your fucking mind, man. Like, stop being fucking stupid, bro. And even the whole narrative that, oh, he got banned for doing his spiritual beliefs. Nothing happened to this nigga. I want y'all niggas to understand. Nothing happened to him. Bro, the nigga didn't get fined. The nigga didn't get suspended. He got waived. Use your brain. If nothing happened to him. Like, bro, Ja Morant actually got suspended. This nigga just got waived. So, use your head as well. Not only did the Chicago Bulls not even try to flip this nigga to get more assets for something else, they just waived him. They rather just pay him out his last year than, why? Even if he was controversial, it has nothing to do with, oh, he got waived because of his views. No, nigga, bro, Anthony Edwards said some shit similar. Fucking, what's his name? Bro, Gilbert Arenas brought a fucking gun into a locker room, bro. He didn't get waived because of what he said. He would have got suspended and fined. That's it. He would have got suspended and fined. That's it. For him to get waived, it has to be deeper. He was having a mental breakdown. And they were like, yo, we're not going to... Bro, we can't help this nigga. He probably been doing shit. They've been trying to help him. Like Kai Jones. The same shit happened to Kai Jones last year. And y'all do the same thing. Yo, he's nothing's wrong with him, bro. He just vibing. He just turning up. Da-da-da. Until Kai Jones, mind you, Kai Jones, he was tweaking out and niggas were saying the same shit. He not tweaking out, he just hyped, he just lit, da-da-da. And then the only reason niggas really start to realize he was tweaking out is because in one of his lives, they could see in the background that the nigga was writing on his walls and shit. And then he got, what happened? Did he get banned or suspended because he was having a mental breakdown? No, he got waived. Kai Jones was young. He still could have been traded for something else. Same way Jaden Ivey probably could have been traded for something else. But when they're having a mental breakdown, they just decided to waive them. This nigga didn't get any action or repercussions for this nigga. If he got banned or suspended, that's different. Nothing happened to him. He got waived. And if another team wanted to pick him up right now, they could. But it's not because of what he said. It's because of his mental state. Even if the nigga said some fuck shit, this is the NBA, nigga. They would sign that nigga back. He's the 5th fucking pick and he's 22 years old. He has something mental going on. That's the only time a team will waive you and just leave you out there like that. If you're young and you have potential. Come on, bro. Use your fucking mind, my nigga. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Use your fucking mind, bro. Use your brain. And he said, yo, my family's calling me crazy. My wife won't talk to me. Why the fuck do you think that is, my nigga? Like, y'all have to use your brain. Obviously, he has some shit going on, bro. I hate, and that's the thing that pissed me off about y'all niggas. Because y'all love to do that with niggas. When Kanye was tweaking out for how long, how many years were niggas like, was niggas like, oh, Kanye, he's speaking the truth. He's speaking the truth. Y'all just don't understand. When Kai Jones was tweaking out, niggas like, yo, he just hyped, bro. Y'all gassing it. When fucking Charlie Sheen was tweaking out, niggas is like, yo, bro, he not, bro, he just, bro, he chasing clout. When AB fucking Antonio Brown was tweaking out, yo, he's a marketing genius, yo, da-da-da. When Edeka was having his shit going on, yo, he's cloud chasing. It took for Edeka to really go and jump off our bridge and like delete himself for niggas to take shit serious, bro. Like, use your mind, bro. Use your brain. And it's fucking wave. They didn't wave this nigga because of no fucking, bro. They would have just fined this nigga and suspended him for a couple games. Come on, niggas have said worse shit than this nigga. Nigga, bro, Gilbert Arenas brought a gun in the locker room. Like, bro, I'm sorry, bro. Anyways.
He could be the cornerstone of their rebuild. A former top 5 pick, 24 years old, the kind of explosive, lightning fast guard that rebuilding teams dream about getting their hands on. Just 60 days later, the Bulls released a one-sentence statement that said, the Chicago Bulls announced today that the team has waived Jaden Ivey due to conduct detrimental to the team. And what happened between those 60 days is one of the most unsettling, one of the most confusing stories that we've seen in the NBA in a very, very long time. Because Jaden Ivey didn't get waived because he couldn't play basketball. He didn't get waived because of a contract dispute. He got waived because something happened to him mentally, spiritually, whatever you want to call it. And the NBA world is still trying to figure out exactly what that something is. But before we talk about the fall, we need to talk about the rise, because if we don't talk about the rise, then the fall just simply doesn't hit the same. Now, before we get into Jaden Ivey's love for apple pie and his random crash out against Steph Curry, I want to tell you guys that today they have been on. You get 50. Just hasn't missed for baseball. We'd be foolish not to. I got Senga Fantasy School giving a discount if you decide. What's going on, everybody? Jaden Ivey was born into basketball royalty. His mom is the head women's basketball coach at Notre Dame. She played in the WNBA for 5 seasons and was an All-American. His dad, Javon Hunter, played in the NFL for the Ravens and the 49ers. His grandfather, James Hunter, played in the NFL for the Detroit Lions. So when I say this kid was wired for professional sports, I mean it was literally in his DNA.
Yeah,
so Jaden Ivey goes to Purdue, and you immediately see it. The speed, the burst, the explosiveness getting to the rim. He was a backcourt problem. The Detroit Pistons took him 5th overall in the 2022 NBA draft, and the vision was clear. Pair him in the backcourt with Cade Cunningham, the #1 overall pick from the year prior, and build something special in Detroit, a city that hadn't won a playoff game since 2008, a franchise that was in the absolute gutter. Jaden Ivey was supposed to be part of the answer. And look, those first 2 seasons were rough for the entire team. Detroit went 31-100.
Yo, sorry, side note. The Pistons never won a game with Andre Drummond and shit. I know they had that 1 year with Blake too, but even before that, I remember they won against the Cavs. They probably got swept, but they never won 1 game, nigga, in the playoffs. That's fucked.
These first 2 seasons, including that nightmare 2023-24 campaign.
Like, I remember they had Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Reggie Jackson when Reggie Jackson was hooping, Tobias Harris when Tobias was hooping, Andre. They never won 1 game, nigga, in the playoffs. The fuck? Where
they set the NBA record with 28 consecutive losses. Monty Williams got fired after 1 year with 5 years and $65 million still left on his deal. It was chaos, and even in all of that, you could see what Jaden Ivey could become. He was putting up numbers, he was improving every year, and then came last year, and it looked like everything was about to click. Through 30 games of the 2024-25 season, Jaden Ivey was having a legitimate breakout year. He was averaging 17.6 points per game, shooting 46% from the field and 41% from 3.
His splits were fucking crazy. Holy shit, I didn't even know that.
Career highs. He was becoming the 2nd star next to Cade. Detroit was finally competitive. Everything was trending up. And then on New Year's Day 2025, in a game against the Orlando Magic, Jaden Ivey collided with Cole Anthony going for a loose ball, and his life would change forever. Ivey would suffer a broken left fibula. They carted him off the floor, and his season was over. Now here's where the timeline gets.
And another thing that people don't understand as well, my bad, this is quick. This is gonna be quick. Another thing that people don't understand is that, yo, you can go into like a mental breakdown. You can go into psychosis over anything. So like, there are some people who, like, if they smoke weed, it could put them in a psychosis or like a manic episode. There's people who could do shrooms, acid, whatever. Some people could do any drugs. Some people could do anything and it could trigger. Some people could hit their head and it could trigger an episode like that. Bro, you have to understand. He got surgery. He had surgery on his knee, and then I think he had another surgery like a couple months later. Bro, he's probably on so many fucking painkillers and shit, morphine, fucking oxycodone. He's probably on all types of shit that could have like triggered something in his head, bro. Like, y'all niggas don't, bro.
Important because this is where you start to see the first seeds of what eventually unraveled everything. Shortly after the injury, Ivey went on the Sports Spectrum podcast, which is a Christian sports media outlet, and he opened up in a major way. He would talk about childhood trauma.
As a child, I just never felt love before. As I grew up, there were some traumas that I went through.
He talked about
I definitely was sexually as a
See what I'm
kid.
saying?
There's some
Like-
things that I saw.
He talked about a corn addiction.
I had a addiction that I dealt with for a couple years.
He would talk about drinking and partying.
I slept with women. I tried drinking alcohol. And I tried going out to party. I tried to fit in with the world.
He said he felt Satan tempting him back into those behaviors after he hit a game winner against the Raptors a few weeks before the injury.
My testimony is that when you're away from Jesus, when you're not close to him, Satan
See, he tore his shit. He took it. He's probably on some painkillers, all type of shit. And he, started spiraling,
is there. He wants to just steal, kill, and destroy. That's all he comes here to do.
And then
And like, bro, I don't understand. I'm sorry, but like, bro, religious psychosis is the most common thing. How many times have you heard a nigga kill a nigga and be like, yo, God told me to do it. He was a demon and shit. Y'all were not taking this nigga serious. If he went and killed a nigga and said God told him to do it, now y'all niggas will be like, oh, that has nothing to do with it, bro. Use your fucking brain. Be able to peep signs when people are going through shit before you validate what the shit they're doing. That's what y'all will be doing. Like, Kanye niggas were validating what he was doing for so long to the point where it got so fucking bad, bro. Like, don't be validating. You don't know these niggas, bro.
he talked about surrendering his life to Christ.
When I came to know Jesus, my life changed. Like, did a whole 360, and I have that peace, I have that joy, and that I've been searching for my entire life.
And at the time, nobody thought that anything was wrong. If anything, people respected it. A young man going through a devastating injury, finding peace through faith. That's a good story. That's the kind of thing you root for. But looking back at that interview and knowing what we know now, that interview reads completely differently. And if you don't believe me, look at how they played their final sequence against the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, they clearly had a chance to win this game with time running out, but Trey Jones passed the ball instead of taking the layup at the buzzer. So this is a no-brainer for the Chicago Bulls. You take a swing on a top 5 pick whose value is at rock bottom. If he returns to form, then you've got a steal. If he doesn't, then you only gave up expiring contracts.
Yeah.
This is a low-risk, potentially high-reward scenario for Chicago. It's a classic rebuild move, and for about 2 weeks, it looked like it might work. Ivey played 4 games for the Bulls.
And again, tell me, why do you think the Pistons would do this trade? Trading Kevin Huerter on a fucking pick swap for Jaden Ivey, who was a 5th pick, nigga. And this nigga was averaging 17.48 field goal percentage, 40% from 3. Tell me why they would do that after they just had this 5th pick. He's a restricted free agent in the summer. He could be that 2 guard next to kid. Why would they do that? Obviously, they seen some shit that was going on behind the scenes, bro.
Averaged 11.5 points, 4.8
When I saw the trade, I was like, what the fuck are the Pistons doing, bro?
in 28.8 minutes. Not spectacular, but competent. Encouraging even. Then on February 11th, in a 124-105 loss to the Celtics, his knee started bothering him again. The Bulls eventually shut him down for the season, and that is when everything got a lot darker.
He had
On
another
February
surgery.
19th, Ivey logged a DNP against the Raptors, and in the postgame, he said something that made everybody do a double take.
I'm not the same player as I used to be. That's why I'm not the Jay I used to be. But the OJ is dead. I'm alive in Christ. No matter what the basketball setting is.
Now look, athletes talk about their faith.
And you have to understand, I grew up in a fucking Christian family. Like, I understand how it is. This isn't normal, though. This is not normal. That's the problem. It's not normal, nigga.
All the time. Steph Curry points to the sky after every 3. Russell Wilson talks about God's plan constantly. That's normal in professional sports. But something about how Ivey said this, the flatness, the detachment, the
You know what
way
I'm
he
saying?
dismissed basketball as irrelevant.
Bro, look at his eyes. You could tell something's going on with this nigga, bro. Look at his eyes, bro. Having some sort of episode, bro. Use your fucking mind, bro. Y'all niggas need to stop being stupid, bro.
It didn't sound like a guy at peace. It
This
sounded
is
like
not
a guy who
this
was
is not has nothing to do with Christianity, nigga. This is like, use your mind.
somewhere else mentally. And reporters who were there said that they could feel it in the room. Writers immediately flagged that his priorities appeared to be shifting away from basketball entirely. After the shutdown, Jaden Ivey disappeared from the public eye, and then he deleted all of his social media accounts except for Instagram. He started posting exclusively on Instagram. Not highlights, not workout videos, not anything basketball related, but these were hour-long religious rants by himself, sitting alone in his car. Over the weekend of March 29th, Ivey went on a 75-minute Instagram live that went
bro.
viral for all the wrong reasons. He was reading Bible passages,
And so Jesus comes to free you of your sin, to call you from a sinner to become righteous.
talking about salvation,
But unless you repent, that's when Jesus, he offers that. He desires mercy. He wants to save you.
talking about Judgment Day.
What good is it to not live every single day to glorify God? It's not going to do good on Judgment Day.
The man took a moment to tell us how much he loved apple pie.
The apple pie. I like apple pie. Apple pie is good. It's
Like, come
tasty.
on, bro.
Why did God give that?
And this wasn't
Like,
just
come
confrontational,
on,
it was
bro.
confrontational. He was going at people in the comments. He was making declarations that went way beyond personal faith. When a fan sent him prayers and said that Detroit misses you, Ivey responded that God does not hear your prayer if you are a sinner. When someone asked him if he goes goes to confession, he fired back that Catholicism is a false religion, and it's not the true doctrine of Christ. It does not lead to salvation in Jesus Christ. And look, that one is particularly wild because his own mom is the head coach at Notre Dame, one of the most famous Catholic universities in the world. He's essentially calling his mother's employer a false religion on social media. A user respectfully told Ivey that he appreciated him speaking up for God but was concerned about the judgment he was casting on others. And Ivey clapped back by saying, "You don't judge righteously because you yourself are not righteous. You clearly have a speck in your eyes, so you can get a speck out of someone else's eye." When a Detroit fan told him that they still loved him and that God gave him the ability to be one of the greatest, Ivey's only response was, "Are you born again?" And then he said the thing about the Pistons that went everywhere.
Like, this is fucking normal to you. You are a fucking idiot. I'm sorry to all of these dumbass niggas who, bro, because you'll see it. Watch, we'll go to the comments right now. Let's go to the comments right now. You'll see these dumbass niggas everywhere. Watch, wait. Meanwhile, Miles Bridges still has an NBA contract. Meanwhile, Ja is still on the team. Wait, because Jaden had an opinion he gets waived? That's some BS. Stupid niggas. I was legit just thinking. Okay. NBA would sell their souls for money. The NBA didn't do anything to this nigga, bro. He didn't get fined or nothing. I think this has been one of the better... Like, let me see. Adam Silver's ideology. These niggas are fucking stupid, bro. They're dumb. He didn't get suspended. He didn't get fucking banned, nothing. He got waived. Another team could come pick him up right now if they want. Has nothing to do with him saying shit about gay niggas. It's because mentally he's not in the right state of his mind, my nigga. That's it. The same reason why niggas weren't picking up Kai Jones for time. He wasn't in the right state of his mind, bro. Holy fuck.
On IG Live, Ivey declared
The piss is not gonna matter on Judgment Day.
he dismissed his college career. He dismissed basketball.
A nigga says some fucked up shit. You can have that nigga apologize. They had, like, when Kyrie posted this shit, they had a nigga go do a class learning about Jewish rights, some shit, and apologize and then fine him and then suspend him, whatever the fuck. They would have just did that with this nigga. They would have waived him and paid him out $9 million, nigga, to go to free agency and get nothing back, nigga. Like, come on.
entirely. He said Jesus wasn't going to ask about the score of the Purdue Boilermakers or the Detroit Pistons on Judgment Day. He said the only thing that matters is what you did for God's kingdom. Evan Siddery posted on X that there was growing concern surrounding Ivey, pointing out that he had admitted to dealing with depression this season. He also deleted all of his other social media. And now he's posting hour-long religious rants by himself on Instagram, which, I'm going to be honest, I had no idea I could do that, because otherwise I would have thrown my long-form content on Instagram as well. So if you follow me on Instagram, I'm sorry, I guess.
And like, obviously, there's shit that's probably happened behind the scenes that they haven't mentioned. See what I'm saying?
The fact of the matter is that a lot of people
were shit he said.
Jaden Ivey, and rightfully so, because things were about to get a lot worse. On Monday morning, March 30th, Ivey went on another IG Live and directly criticized the NBA for celebrating Pride Month. This is what he would say.
That the world can proclaim LGBTQ. They proclaim Pride Month, and the NBA, they proclaim it. They show it to the world. They say, come join us for Pride Month to celebrate unrighteousness. They proclaim it on the billboards. They proclaim it in the streets, unrighteousness.
And that was the end. That's how he nuked his career. The Chicago Sun-Times reported within hours that the Bulls were working on an exit strategy and that nobody should be surprised if Ivey was no longer with the team soon. And they were right. By 5 p.m. Central.
And that wasn't what got him cut. That was just the last straw. He was probably having some sort of episode and problems before that, and they were trying to help him with those problems. But now once it comes to the public, and now the public is like, because obviously some niggas are gonna get offended, right? But now you can't even get him to be like, oh, just apologize and da-da-da, because he's not in the right state of mind. Or even if you don't have to get him to apologize, you can't even just say, okay, fuck it, just suspend him and fine him for it. And then he comes back. Because, you know, he'll probably go on live, yo, da-da-da, because he's not in the right state of his mind. So once the issues that he was going on behind the scenes came to the public, and you have no way to know if he's going to be more unhinged or anything else, you have to just let him go. That's all that happened. This was just this coming to the public. Even if he came out and said something else, if he came out and said, yo, everybody of every other religion is going to hell, y'all are gonna burn in hell, they would have waved him the same way. Same way.
April, Shams reported that the Bulls were waiving him, and the team confirmed it with that one-sentence statement. Conduct detrimental to the team. Done. A top 5 pick that the Bulls traded for less than 2 months later was just released outright. The Bulls didn't even bother waiting until the offseason to figure out the restricted free agency situation. They just wanted him off the roster immediately. And I want to be real about something here because this is a very important nuance. No professional sports team is going to stand by a middling player that's alienating its fans. I don't care where you stand on the spectrum on the opinion of what Jaden Ivey is saying, but there's something we could all agree with. What he is saying is divisive, and there are definitely people that are upset by what he said. And the talent is—
That's fine. They wouldn't waive him for that. They wouldn't. They would fine him, make him tell him to apologize, or fine him and suspend him. That's it. Look how many, bro, suspension and fine. Anthony Edwards, fine. Gilbert Arenas, suspension and fine. He brought a gun. Bro, they wouldn't waive him for this. Even if you're like, oh, well, he's not good as them. They wouldn't waive him for this. It's other shit behind the scenes.
Just not worth the Chicago Bulls to put up with that type of stuff. If Jaden Ivey was putting up 25 points a night and
this is the dumb argument. No, he's still 22. He's still a fucking insanely young player. He's not in the right state of his fucking mind. You cannot change that. You cannot fix that. You get what I'm saying? You can't fix that. How are you going to develop this player, have this star player, or he's going to be this player when he's not in the right state of his mind? Injury, controversy, you can move past that. Somebody being mentally unstable, you can't.
Deep into the playoffs, the reaction from the front office might have been different, but that's just the—
Kai Jones was nice. Kai Jones didn't even do nothing, say nothing controversial. He just requested a trade. Everyone knew he was having a mental breakdown. They're like, yo, we can't. How are we going to be able to? We can deal with controversy. We can deal with injuries. How are we going to deal with somebody who's not mentally stable? Can't.
Reality of professional sports.
That's why he got waived.
Leverage. And Ivey's talent, at least the version of it he'd been showing since the injury, wasn't anywhere close to enough to justify that.
Sorry again. Is what Kai Jones did worse than what Jaden Ivey said? Yes or no? Fuck no. What Kai Jones said, is it no? And Kai Jones was probably more useful right now than Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey's coming off of 2 knee surgeries, my nigga. Kai Jones is probably better than Jaden Ivey right now. He got waived. He didn't say nothing about no religion. He just said, I want to get a trade. He got waived and nobody picked him up. Why? Because he wasn't mentally stable. Same thing.
Headache. Now, if you thought the story ended with Jaden Ivey getting cut, it didn't. Because after the Bulls officially cut him on the same day, Jaden Ivey went on Instagram Live again from an airplane. He's literally on a plane about to take off, and instead of sitting with the magnitude of what just happened to his career, he's going live to thousands of people to double down on everything that got him released in the first place. And this time he went after one of the biggest names in the sport, Steph Curry. Ivey would call out Steph Curry directly.
That's why you got Steph Curry, and he not even surrendered, and y'all believe he's a Christian. Y'all believe he's a Christian because he wrote Philippians 4:13.
Think about what he just did there. Steph Curry, a 4-time NBA champion, arguably the greatest shooter to ever live, a guy who has been openly Christian his entire career, who has Philippians 4:13 written on his shoes, who has talked about his faith countless times. And Jaden Ivey, a 24-year-old who just got waived from his new team within 2 months, is telling people that Steph Curry doesn't actually follow his faith. The audacity of that is hard to even wrap your head around, but he didn't stop at Steph Curry. He said the championship rings that LeBron James and Michael Jordan earned are not going to matter on Judgment Day.
All that stuff is not gonna matter on Judgment Day. All them rings he got, all them rings LeBron got, all them rings Michael Jordan got.
So now he's dismissing the GOAT debate entirely. Curry's rings, LeBron's rings, Jordan's rings.
Who
None
cares,
of it matters in
bro?
Ivey's mind. And he went even further and said this.
And they gonna try to stop me, but I'm not. I'm gonna keep speaking the truth.
He then directly addressed himself getting cut.
That's why everybody around me turning their back on me, right? Because of my faith in him, in the Son.
See, it's not. It's because he's not stable. You think this nigga family said, yo, fuck this nigga. Yo, he's fucking up the bag. Yo, fuck him. We're just gonna cut. Bro, he's not stable, bro.
Oh my God.
And he probably telling them, like, they probably trying to get him help. And he's like, nah, I don't need help. I'm turning my life to Christ. Like, you know? That's how it happens when someone's having an episode, bro.
That's why I didn't get myself waived. I was in the gym today. I was rehabbing. I was lifting, doing what was required of me in my job, doing whatever they said to do, doing whatever was required of me. I could have quit on my own self, but they kicked me out. And I'm sure every NBA team gonna say the same thing. We don't want him. We don't want him. He's too religious.
He went on this whole thing about how he was at the gym on Monday, doing his rehab, doing what was required of his job.
And this shit is sad because he came out, he told y'all, he's like, I got SA'd when I was younger. He had depression, he had a porn addiction, all type of shit. He's telling you everything that is like major leading causes to somebody having some form of mental breakdown, nigga. Then on top of that, he had 2 surgeries. They're probably giving him oxycodone for pain and morphine during the surgery. Bro, come on, bro. Again, it's fine to be religious, but this isn't normal.
And he didn't understand how he could be detrimental to a team that he wasn't even around.
Your conduct is detrimental to the team. I haven't been with the team, right? I haven't been with the team because I've been rehabbing. So how is my conduct detrimental to the team? Where have I done detriment? Did the players did I say man, you suck? Did I say you suck to the players? That would be detrimental to the team, right? Because I don't trust in I'm saying the player sucks, and I'm on the same team as him, right? And he's my teammate. We're supposed to be teammates. We're supposed to be on the same team. We're supposed to be playing together, right?
Like, in his mind, that's what conduct detrimental means. Only direct insults to your teammates. He's not connecting the dots that what he's saying publicly on social media represents the organization, whether he's in the building or not. And he insisted that other teams won't sign him because they think he's too religious. Not because of the injuries, not because he's averaging career lows, not because he's publicly alienating every fan base and organization that he's been associated with. No, it's because he's too religious. That's the story he's telling himself right now. And that disconnection from reality is what makes this whole thing so concerning. And here's the detail that really paints the whole picture. At one point during the live, a flight attendant came over and asked him to end the session because the plane was about to depart and his phone would interfere with the communication systems.
Just sorry to bother you, but our boarding pick up where you left off with our Zoom watching feature. And add your favorites to access, click the login button on the top right of the feedback screen.
Not during the flight.
Mobile device to scan the QR code. Follow the instructions on the Flight Delta app. Security login.
Ivey ignored her and kept going on for another minute before wrapping up the live. A flight attendant had to tell him to stop preaching on an airplane. That's where we're at with the story. Now, while Jaden Ivey was going live, Billy Donovan was addressing the media before their game against the Spurs in San Antonio. And what Donovan said was really telling.
We've got people from all different backgrounds, right, inside the organization. So I think the first thing is how well organized. This goes for players, I think coaches, everybody in that building. It's always been, I think, that what's been from the top, like, we're all going to work well together. We're all going to basically take care of each other. We're going to accept each other. I think we're going to be hardworking. We're going to be accountable, and we're going to be respectful, and we're going to be professional. I think that's kind of what it's been. I know some of the things that we put out there. I think it's a situation for him where, it's on his own personal Instagram. I don't want to get into what he put out there, but certainly I hope for him, he's okay. I don't know. Like I've had conversations with Jaden and stuff, and he's been always about rehabbing his knee and trying to get back to the court and want to play. But I think organizationally, there's certain standards I think we want to have as an organization to try to live up to those each and every day.
And when asked about the mental health report, Donovan said,
I think you have to, in today's day and age, be conscientious of all these guys may be going through things. And I'm not passing judgment on what Jaden is or is not going through, but I do know that I always worry.
Like, why are they saying this? You see what I'm saying?
About that, not only for Jaden, but for all of our players today. Are we providing the
like, I'm sorry, if you can't tell that the nigga's not he's not like, if you can't tell that he's having like some sort of mental breakdown, I'm very concerned about you. Like, y'all be the type of niggas who get killed by people by people like and shit, cause you can't pick up on shit. You can't be able to see shit for what it is, or be able to pick up on niggas. Like, you can't tell. You're telling me. I be seeing how some of y'all niggas get finessed by shorties. Some of y'all niggas get slimed out by people, all type of shit. You cannot tell that this nigga's not in his right state of mind. You can't tell that. How the fuck would you ever be able to, bro, say you lock in with a shorty, you can't even, like, bro, you need basic, like, comprehension and basic analyzation to be able to, like, see basic shit like this. Like, you need to be able to see basic things like this. Like, even niggas were like, oh, Kanye's not crazy. Like, come on, bro. Or Kanye's not, nothing's wrong with Kanye. But yo, you can't live your life not being able to see like basic shit like this.
Which I think we do to help them any way we can. And I think if any player reached out and said, listen, I need some help in this, we would help them.
That's a coach who's clearly walking a fine line between holding the organizational standard and not wanting to pile on a guy that he's worried about. Then ESPN dropped this detail. Sources told them that Ivey's intensity had ratcheted up during his time in Chicago and that his behavior had agitated some team staff members. They described Ivey as preachy around the locker room. So it wasn't just the social media, he was doing this in the building too. And ESPN also reported that his hour-long social media rants ventured into a variety of topics beyond religion, including his bouts of depression, wicked music lyrics, anti-Catholicism, abortion, and in the middle of a rant about salvation and Judgment Day, the man started talking about apple pie. That's the kind of detail that makes people genuinely worried about somebody's mental state. Now, this isn't the first time the NBA has dealt with a situation like this, and I think the comparisons are worth exploring here because they tell us a lot about how this league works. The first name that comes to mind is AJ Griffin. Griffin was drafted 16th overall by the Hawks in that same 2022 class as Ivy. He retired from the NBA at just 21 years old in September of 2024 to pursue full-time ministry. He straight up said, "I gave up basketball to follow Jesus." He walked away from millions of dollars and a career that was just getting started. But here's the key difference. Griffin did it on his own terms. It was a deliberate, peaceful decision. He wasn't combative. He wasn't going after fans in the comments. He wasn't calling other religions false. He made his choice and walked away quietly.
It's not even about that. It's about, do we think that AJ Griffin was out of his mind? He probably just said, yo, he genuinely want to do that. Like, we don't have any information that would indicate that he was like not like maybe having some sort of like mental episode or nothing. He could have just made that decision. That's why nobody spoke about that or nothing. Like, oh shit, this nigga just retired, cool, you know, or he doing his thing, whatever, you know. This is different though.
Seeing with Ivy feels nothing like that. Griffin was at peace, and Ivy seems like he's at war. The other comparison that people are drawing is Myers Leonard. Leonard was the 11th overall pick in 2012.
Totally different.
His career effectively ended when he used an anti-Semitic slur during a Twitch live stream in 2021. The Heat suspended him, traded him to OKC, and the Thunder immediately waived him. He was out of the league for 2 years before the Bucks gave him a brief shot in 2023. The parallel isn't about religion specifically, it's about how fast the NBA will cut ties when a player's off-court behavior becomes a liability and their on-court production isn't valuable enough to justify the risk. Leonard was a fringe rotation player. Ivy right now is playing at a fringe rotation level. So the math is...
It's not even comparable. Like, it's not comparable. It's the mental state thing. Myers Leonard wasn't that good. I'm gonna just be honest. Myers Leonard was like end of the bench type of nigga, and he was like, bro, I'm trying to see. Let me see. I search up his shit. Bro, he was already pushing his 30s. Jaden Ivey is like a 22, 23-year-old who was averaging like fucking 17. Fifth lottery pick, 48% from the field, 40% from three. Yes, he got another knee injury, or he had another knee surgery. He's rehabbing. You still would take the chance on him, even if he said the shit. It has to do with his mental state. That's it.
It's the same here.
That's it.
But
That's
honestly,
all the story boils
comparison
down
I keep
to.
coming back to isn't even a basketball one. You guys might know about my evil twin brother that recently passed us in subscribers, Microphone, where he covers the NFL. And the best example is Antonio Brown. Not because the situations are identical, but because of the pattern. An elite talent dealing with injuries, declining production, increasingly erratic behavior on social media, alienating teammates and organizations, and then ultimately self-destructing in a very public way. When AB ripped off his jersey and ran off the field in Tampa, people were split between being angry at him and being genuinely concerned about his mental health. And that's where the NBA world is right now.
Thank you.
Ivy. And this is the part of the story that I believe deserves the most honesty. It's easy to frame this as a man saying some controversial stuff and getting cut, but I believe it's way deeper than that. ESPN explicitly noted in their reporting that Ivy has spoken in the past of dealing with depression. He's dealt with admitted depression. He's dealt with back-to-back devastating injuries. He watched his team, the Pistons, the franchise that drafted him 5th overall, that he was supposed to be the number 2 option on. Not just move on without him, but become the best team in the Eastern Conference without him. He got traded to a tanking Bulls team that shut him down after 4 games. He's 24 years old, sitting alone in his car, injured, with no clear NBA future, doing hour-long IG lives to strangers about Judgment Day. That Sports Spectrum podcast interview from January 2025, the one where he talked about childhood trauma and abuse, that wasn't just a faith testimony, that was a young man in real pain trying to make sense of his life through the only framework that he had. And when you go through that level of trauma and then you lose the thing that gave your life structure, which was basketball, sometimes the coping mechanism that helped you survive becomes the very thing that consumes you. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not diagnosing anybody, but I think it's very important to acknowledge that this is a lot deeper than a guy that just has some strong opinions about religion. Multiple people around the league have expressed genuine concern about his well-being, and I think that concern is warranted. When someone asked Ivy on Instagram to reach out to his loved ones if he was going through a hard time, he insisted he had peace and joy, and maybe he does, but the behavior, deleting all social media, posting hour-long rants alone, becoming increasingly combative with strangers online, dismissing basketball, dismissing his teams, dismissing entire religions, that pattern is concerning regardless of what's driving it. From a basketball perspective, the Pistons look brilliant right now. They traded Ivy on February 3rd for Kevin Huerter and a pick swap. That pick swap can move them from the 30th pick all the way up to around the 20th or 21st in a very deep draft class. They didn't extend Ivy during the offseason when they easily could have, and that decision, which seemed risky at the time, now looks like one of the smartest non-moves.
It's because he injured himself, and they're like, oh, he's kind of different, so they traded him while they could.
Any front office has made this decade. They would have been locked into pain.
They knew. They knew, nigga. He fucked up his knee when he was there, nigga. They knew. They already knew. That's what I'm telling y'all niggas. When the trade happened, look like. I'm gonna let it play. Let me search up the trade reactions.
Instead, they freed up cap space to Dennis Jenkins at a fraction of the cost, and the Pistons haven't missed a beat. So what happens now? Ivey is about to become an unrestricted free agent this summer since the Bulls waived him before extending a qualifying offer. No team has to give him restricted free agent protections. He's just a free agent with a destroyed knee, destroyed reputation, and a social media presence that's scaring off front offices across the league. The question is whether any team takes a flyer on him. And look, the NBA has taken guys back from worse. Myers Leonard got a shot with the Milwaukee Bucks after an anti-Semitic slur. The league has protocols. There are pathways, but those pathways typically require two things. First, the player has to get healthy, and Ivey hasn't been consistently healthy in over a year. And second, the player has to show genuine accountability and growth. Myers Leonard spent 2 years meeting with rabbis and Jewish organizations. He took it seriously. Right now, Ivey isn't showing any signs that he thinks he did anything wrong. He told people asking about his well-being that he has peace and joy. He's doubling down on this, not reflecting. But honestly, there's a scenario here where Jaden Ivey doesn't come back, where basketball just isn't what he wants anymore. AJ Griffin walked away at 21. Ivey is 24, dealing with more physical damage, and seems even more consumed by his religious convictions than Griffin ever was. If Ivey decides that his calling is ministry and not basketball, then this story has a very different ending than most people expect. It wouldn't be a fall, it would be a choice. But the way it's happening right now, the erratic behavior, the combativeness, the concerning pattern of escalation, this doesn't feel like a peaceful choice. This feels like a crisis. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down.
Going back, okay, before I end it off, look at what niggas were saying when this nigga was traded. This is when the Pistons announced the trade, right? Oh, let me move this shit down. This is when the Pistons announced the trade. Look at the reactions. Y'all traded Poison Ivy for these two. I'm slowly seeing why our seasons never end in a championship. We had great chemistry, but let's throw the shit out of the window for two bums we don't need. Worst move ever. Fuck you. You got an injured dude and a dog shit backup center? Fuck it. Lagans fucking sucks. What is the exact prediction? Thumbs down. Huge mistake to make this move by the Pistons organization. You don't break up this chemistry and give up on Ivy, a great player who has done everything right. Ivy had no play in the chemistry, A disappointment. One of the most beloved players by his fans. Like, nobody thought this was a good trade when this shit happened, my nigga. But there's a reason they did it. They fucking knew. But we'll leave it at that, bro.